Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sara Lihz and I am so excited for this card. So Trinity Stamps has a new release today. This is part of a hop and a giveaway. We're going to talk about that giveaway, but we're using two of my favorite sets from the new release. It is the Springtime Gnomes. I am obsessed with gnomes, and then the Circle Shaker. But I'm actually starting with this modern embossed circle. It is ever so slightly smaller than 4¼ inches round, and we're going to make a cloudy background. So I'm using the Puffy Clouds stencil from Trinity, and I love this one because it's so big. There's so many options for like twisting and turning and making a different shape with your clouds. So I'm just using like a pale blue ink, and I'm starting on the stencil and going with kind of a light hand up above the stencil, and it just leaves me that white cloud and a little bit of blue behind it. We'll go all the way down to the bottom, and I'll add just a touch of ink there at the bottom so it doesn't look quite so stark, and that will finish our background. I'm going to ink blend a lot because I was so excited about these gnomes, but really you could skip that. These guys are so stinking cute. They go together beautifully without this extra little bit. I have somebody in mind for this card, and I was like, let's go a little extra. So a little ink on either side of the rainbow's bows, and then we'll start putting everything together in just a minute. I want to tell you about the hop and the giveaway. I have links to everybody in the hop below, and as you hop along, there are chances to win a gift card to the Trinity Stamps shop. So I will leave all of the directions in the description box below the video. Totally worth it, you guys. This gnome. I am adding just a little bit of very light gray ink to his beard at the top and bottom, and then I'm going to come in with the lightest alcohol marker I have, the lightest gray marker, and I am just flicking up from the bottom and down from the top, and I'm trying to put a tiny bit of curve into those flicks. And that's it, right? We're not being anybody's hero. I just wanted a little bit of texture, a little extra something, right? So then there are like, it looks like two pieces for the beard, but the other one really is so that you have kind of his face behind there. I don't have like a peachy skin tone colored cardstock, so I just used an alcohol marker and colored the very top of it. And then he comes together very quickly. There's a little sort of thing for his hat. There's lots of options of what you can do with this gnome. There are some like bunny ears, like Easter bunny ears you can put on him. He can hold a pot. He can hold a pot of gold. Like you can turn him into like a St. Patrick's Day gnome. So cute. He's so stinking cute. There's a little buckle you can put on his hat so you can make it look more like a leprechaun hat. I'm here for all of it. Absolutely all of it. So I added his little nose, and then here's the sort of pot of flowers. I'll be honest, it's up maybe a little higher than I wanted it, but there was no moving in it at this point. I've added the bottom of the pot, and then I cut the top of the pot out of a darker color of pink, and there's some like greenery or leaves that go with the florals, and I'm just going to lay the top of the pot right over the top of that, so it's not like coming up all the way covering his face. There are 3 flowers you can add to the pot, but I'm going to put one on his hat. Maybe it's a her hat. I don't know. And a couple on the pot and some hands as well. So I'm using my tweezers for this one. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to place them, but I just kind of wiggled them around until something looked right. I used the images that are on the packaging to help me with that as well. I'll add my flowers. There are centers to the flowers. So I just cut, it's all one die, so I won't lose things. I just cut it all out of white, and then I used a marker to kind of color in the dots yellow because I was less likely to lose things if I just cut it out one time instead of 2. Okay, so we have our cloudy panel. I have my largest bow for the rainbow and my gnome, and I'm kind of getting everything lined up and figuring out where I want the rainbow on my card. And I just use a little pencil along the inside and a touch along the bottom to mark that place. When I go to add my rainbow, I have a little extra step in here. It's going to be a shaker, and I don't really like it when my bits get caught behind a die cut. So I add my glue, and then I use my fingers, and I just kind of like smear it all the way to the edges so there's less for it to get caught on. If you've never made a circle shaker before, I promise it's actually pretty easy. But you could do something really similar, not as a circle shaker, right? You could make an A2 card cut your panel down, and then just use some extra packaging from a stamp set or a die set to kind of wrap around there and create the shaker that way. I just love a circle shaker. Anytime I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this set, I really just want to show off, in this case, the gnome. This is my go-to. It's always fun and cute and surprising. I think it's really unusual to get a circle card. So I've added all of my bows from my rainbow, and then I'm going to carefully trim along the edge with my scissors because I need this to fit inside my shaker pouch. And then I will also add some glittery clouds at the bottom. So there's a cloud for each side of the rainbow, but since I'm only using one, I'm going to add one sort of right on top, lining up with the bottom edge of the rainbow. And then the other, I'm going to flip upside down there the same width. And I thought that was a lot of fun. I don't know. It's super extra puffy somehow and very sparkly. Where I can, I like to add specialty cardstocks in these small ways. So this is a circle shaker pouch. It's 4 1/4 inches, and it's got a little like covering on it. So I pulled that off, and I'm just kind of checking the fit and realizing for the first time that that modern embossed circle is not a full 4 1/4. So I cut a second circle that is 4 1/4, and I'm just going to glue it right on top of there. It's got some of that same deep teal blue as the brim of his hat, and we're going to bring that in again a few times. So once I get that all situated, I'm going to start adding some double-sided adhesive to the back all around the edges. This is rip and stick tape. I'm using the 1/4 inch. It's from Trinity, and you could tear off separate pieces, but that's harder. So I just let it sort of bend and curl, and it works fine. And I'm going to remove, up to the 9 o'clock, 3/4 of it. Then I'm going to center my plastic pouch, and I'm going to fold in one at the top, bottom, left, and right? So think of a compass, north, south, east, and west. And as long as I get those 4 tabs first, it really helps me to know that everything is going to be centered. Then it's super quick and easy to just sort of spin it around and keep pressing the rest of those into the adhesive. I left myself an opening so that I could add my shaker bits. This is a fun mix from Trinity that I need to order more of because I'm obsessed with it. It's called Candy Cottage, and it's got some like pale pinks and iridescent-y purples, and it's just so pretty. So I'm going to dump those in, spill them all over my desk, and then I will flip this over and secure the rest of those little flaps onto the back. So it shakes beautifully. I love using a shaker pouch because things don't get caught the same way they do in my other shakers. I added a whole nother layer of that double-sided tape, a little bit in the middle, a touch of wet glue for wiggle room. And then because I was feeling extra, I added this on to a 4 1/2 inch circle. I just like that hint of blue peeking out all around the edges. You could skip that. It does mean it's not going to fit in an A2 envelope, but it'll fit beautifully in an A6. And actually, I'm probably going to hand deliver. So it doesn't matter to me, but something to be aware of. I've added my gnome onto that acetate with a little bit of wet glue, and then I'm going to set him aside to dry because it's still a little wiggly on there. This is an older set. This is the Simply Sentimental birthday set. There's tons of these where there's like a stamp set and a coordinating die set, and they mix and match beautifully. So I am just stamping the word happy. That's it, just happy. And then I'm going to trim that out into a rectangle, and I will mat it onto the same pink cardstock that I used for my rainbow. I just try to line it up so the top and bottom and the left have the same margin. And then I'll take it to my trimmer and just shave off little slivers until it looks even. There's less measuring. I don't have to worry about it. It's quick and easy. Then I used the dies, the Happy Birthday Simply Sentimental dies, that's a mouthful, to cut out this birthday. There's lots of font options. This one is very thin and delicate. So I put some ripstick sheet, right? Kind of like the tape I used, but it comes in sheets, and stuck it behind there. And then it just turns it into a sticker. It's perfect for adding on to acetate like this. I have no idea how I would have done that with wet glue. But then I can add my happy with like little dots of glue. Never mind the disagreements I am having with my glue bottle this card. You guys, it was a day. It was a day. I'll try to make sure that that is nice and straight. And then I can add this to my card base. So this is the circle shape card die set that came out, I think in January. So I cut it out of white cardstock and folded it. You can see it's very slightly flatter at the top. And then on the front of my card, my shaker, I added a little bit of mint tape just so I know where the top center is so that my card's not gonna open cattywampus. You know, it's the little things. I'll use my wet glue to add that to the back, give it a second to dry, and it finishes my card, you guys. This came together surprisingly quickly. I will definitely be making like loads of gnome cards. I would love to know what you think of gnomes in the comments. Please be sure to hop along, check out all the other inspiration, and definitely enter that giveaway. I would love a gift card to the Trinity shop. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.